Привіт усім! Ви на каналі 402. З вами Мар'яна Заклінська та команда Афіші Плюс. Сьогодні ми будемо говорити про сучасне мистецтво. Поговоримо англійською із художником з Німеччини.
Okan Okan Okan, young artist from Europe. Okan works between Berlin and Copenhagen. His solo presentation was in Frankfurt and Maine and Berlin. Selected exhibitions in Denmark, San Francisco, United States of America, and Germany. In Ivano-Frankivsk, he represents show The Necessary Evil.
So it's like Okan Okan Okan, the necessary evil. So I'm also putting myself in as a necessary evil in this, as an experiment. There are two reasons or two stories behind it. One is like my grandmother. When I was a child, she would sing this song to me. Okan Okan ondurmuş ondurmuş, Okan bir kız kandırmış kandırmış. And I hated this song because it means like Okan, he convinced a girl to kiss, and so I became really embarrassed about this. So when it was just assumed that my name was Okan Okan Okan, I also thought it was interesting as an experiment to see, okay. So actually all the works that I signed in the exhibition, I wrote like Okan ×3, so it's Okan Okan Okan. So I changed the name a little bit for this exhibition. Another story is that some people find me like obnoxious, that I don't give up, and people get tired of me. And when you repeat a word 3 times, it's like, okay, it's enough now, So for those two reasons, like I like it a lot. So, but my real name is Okan Yıldırım.
Please tell about your works. Seems that it's like your reaction or reflection on what happens in the world.
The message I want to send is, with the exhibition, The Necessary Evil, is to explain the mechanism of my work, which is my work is not the individual objects, but my works is like the whole story somehow. And I made some drawings on this paper like now that really tell about my work, and with this title, it's I think the first time that everything just fits together. As you can see, I made a red heart and a blue heart, and this of course comes from my idea about love and hate, that they come from the same energy, but they are like from opposite directions. So when you realize this, you cannot blame people for acting evil or acting out of love, because when you fall in love, it's like something happens to you, like a chemical reaction, and all of a sudden you do things that you wouldn't do. So when I realized that this is the same thing with evil, or they just have to kind of meet together. The exhibition now at the Center for Contemporary Art in Shevchenko Street is an accumulation of all the horrible human tragedies that happened, like the last winter, the refugee crisis, and the attacks in Paris, and all these major events in the world. So I wanted to construct my chaotic image of the world with a little bit like a shifted perspective. A shifted perspective that doesn't necessarily see things as they are, but looks at them with a skepticism to try to understand what is really going on.
But don't you think that we have enough painful news?
Well, that's one idea, and the idea, if you have something you don't want, you push it here, it's not gone, So this is something that I have from one of my favorite poets, Friedrich Hölderlin. He says in German, "Wo aber Gefahr ist, wächst das Rettende auch." It translates to where the danger is, lies also what can save us. So with this idea, I put into my work quite early when I was still studying. With this tool, I explore these things, and I try to go to places that are unpleasant.
One of your work dedicated to Muhammad Ali, famous boxer. Why?
So the work, the silk screen work with Muhammad Ali is has to do, of course, with 2016, like bringing with it so many like celebrities and people that I consider role models. David Bowie, Prince, well, Michael Jackson is not in that category, but anyways, he's in this print. And then there is a big picture of Muhammad Ali, who passed away like recently. I admire his efforts, not only as a boxer, but as a person who stands up for humanity and a person who uses his influence to change the world in a positive way. I think this is something that I don't really see in the art world. It's something that I would like was in the art world as well. I think maybe one example of this kind of person can be the Chinese artist Ai Weiwei, who uses his influence to makes art in this spectrum, you know, of using his popularity to come across different difficulties. So you can consider the whole picture as some kind of a totem pole, like where you celebrate your ancestors. So a concept that I've been working with before, like more like as a sculpture, but this time I wanted to use the images, and so the work came about in this way.
Can you tell about technique in which you work?
I like to experiment with different techniques, but I also like to, of course, come back to certain techniques. In this exhibition, I chose to make 3 big silk screen works, and that requires a lot of effort. So the work is like very laborsome and it's very manual. So you need a lot of determination. But you can still be very flexible in this technique. It's a technique that consists of dots, and the more dots, you know, this image consists of dots. So when you step back, you see the picture, but if you have the file, it just looks like dots, you know. If you get really close to the image, it's dots. And I think that's interesting with the image because from far away, it looks chaotic, you know, and like on the contrary to a Monet, you know, like something like this. It doesn't, you get closer, still you have like, you can read things, but still things are not obvious for you, you know. You don't have this moment of, okay, now I understand. So I use, of course, the silk screen technique to add value and significance to the work. And at the same time, I have a quite big sculpture in the show that is more spontaneous and that is more like fits to the space and works as a requisite, you know. Yeah.
About art in Ukraine and art in Europe and Ivano-Frankivsk.
I think anyone who wants to deal with art, I think is already you ask for something which is not easy, you know. So it being like difficult to be a painter in Europe or in Ukraine, I think. I think you can say that art is difficulty. Art is to force yourself to see things in a different way. But if you talk about like the economic part of it, or the necessity to survive as an artist, and to be able to sell your works and to be able to have just the most basic life.
What you like in our city, and what about art in our city?
Not only did I appreciate and understand the environment of this beautiful city, but I also compare it with where I'm from, and I live in Berlin. And I was thinking to myself, like, so if you did this show in Berlin, what would come out of it? What would happen, you know, just as an experiment? And I just slowly realized that maybe there would be like the same amount of people. There would maybe be one person who would tell me like, okay, yeah, it's cool, man. It's like, oh yeah, good job. And then it's like, okay, that's what I did this time, and okay, so all right. But here, I was stunned by the appreciation and the desire and interest in the work, not only as a commodity, like as in Berlin. You just look at it and you want to try to understand where does it fit, like in the coordinate of the bigger commercial art scene. And believe it or not, people are only interested in this commercial art scene. So that already coming here to Ivano-Frankivsk, where there is no real commercial art scene, this becomes totally irrelevant. So, and when this becomes irrelevant, it's interesting what happens then, because then the content comes up again. So people were asking me about the smallest little details in the silk screen works, and I was like, I felt really appreciated in a very nice way. Yeah. Some people were asking me, why do you come and show this great art in Ivano-Frankivsk? And I was like, got emotional, like, and I didn't know like what to say. I felt a very warm feeling.
So thank you for interview. З нами був Окан 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 на каналі 402. Друзі, вчіть англійську, насолоджуйтеся сучасним мистецтвом, українським та європейським, бо Україна – це Європа. All you love is need.